Well, today we keep the Feast of the Epiphany, so I very carefully prepared an address today about the three kings. And then last week, Father Stephen Terry reminded us that actually the Bible doesn't say anything about kings, and it doesn't say there were three of them. It doesn't even say when they came. Exocet underneath my address. However, the church has always thrived on the principle of scripture and tradition. And so today I am going to claim tradition. And so you're still going to get an address about the three kings. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who's been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star in its rising, and we come to pay him homage." And when King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. And they told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea. For so it has been written by the prophet, 'And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least amongst the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who is to be the shepherd of my people.' Then Herod secretly called the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. And then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, 'Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage.' When they heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, and it had stopped over the place where the child was. And when they saw the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. Not entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. And then they opened their treasure chests, and they offered him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left their own country by another road. On the 5th of January 1979, I was asked to visit a very sick army wife in the British Military Hospital in Munster. Now, that was about 50 miles away from where we were posted at the time. And in those days, by that time of year, Germany was covered in snow. However, the chaplain's vehicle was equipped with winter tires. And also the Germans were very good at keeping the roads open. And so I drove down to the hospital in Munster, spent some time there visiting people in the hospital. And then as the evening drew on, I made my way back to where we were posted. Going through the roads and through the little villages along the way, I came across several villages where I saw children dressed as kings, three kings, making their way around the village. And occasionally, when the car was going slower, I would hear that they were singing something. And then I also saw on several occasions that they were writing on the top of the door. And so when I got back, there was a lovely person that we knew working on the German economy who explained what it was to me. And if they were going to write it this year, they would write 20 and then a Christian cross, and then they would write a C for Casper, and then a Christian cross, and then they would write an M and a Christian cross, and they would write a B and a Christian cross, 23. So 2023 CMB. Now, the interesting thing is that it's not only representing the three kings with the three names of the kings, but actually there's also behind the scenes a Latin text, which I shall probably mispronounce, sorry Sue, and which is Christus Mansionem Benedicat.
I'm not being looked at with a fierce way, so that might have been all right. May Christ bless this house. Isn't that lovely? I mean, we have a tradition here of Halloween where everybody gets dressed up as witches and skeletons. And I have a lasting ambition that we could actually have the three kings in this country, but I've been trying for years and it hasn't caught on. Anybody who wants to put it on their social media profile, have a go. I think it's lovely. And I think that it represents something of the whole of this season. Authors will tell you that if you can find the right vehicle to carry your message, you can actually get enormously powerful ideas into people's heads comparatively easily. And especially if you do it in a beautiful package. Now, I know that Easter is theologically much more important than Christmas and Epiphany. But it's Christmas time that the churches are full, because it's such a lovely package. We can all enter in our imagination into that stable. We can all share with a young man and a young woman the love and the adoration that they have for their baby. We can all share with the animals, if you're a soft, sentimental animal lover like me, the idea that the animals are looking down in wonder as well. We can all share with the rough shepherds the adoration that they feel. And today, we can share with the kings. So today, a little thought about the three kings. The first thing is the star. The star represented to them, from their folklore, their religion, their tradition, a cosmic event. No ordinary event. This is something of major significance. This is world-shattering. And it's that prompted them to go on their journey. And this shattering event is going to lead them to the stable and to a very significant moment in this lovely package story. The first thing is that when they get to the stable, they recognize that the cosmic event is the coming not only of a new king, but of an entirely different kind of king. It's what the gift of the gold represents, the kingship. But the kingship of Christ is not at all like any other kingship that we can come across in history or fiction or anything else. This king is different. This king is actually there, lying on the hay in the manger in a stable, and not in any majesty of a king's palace. This is none other than God setting aside all his power and entering into the fullness of our humanity. This is God who will be king not only of the people of where he is born, of Judea, but king of the whole world. They come as representatives of the whole world. And the simple fact of the matter is that that is exactly what happened. There are no areas of the world that hasn't been touched by the knowledge of this king. Not everyone will respond to it. Others will go in different directions, but there are no areas of the world that hasn't been touched by the knowledge of this king. This is the king for all peoples. This is the king for us. But something else of the nature of the king is also present, and that is represented in the gift of frankincense, because the king is holy. The king is not just a representative of a fragile little bundle of mortal flesh. This king is the representative of God himself. For all the things that you might look at as measures of your success, whatever that may be, for the job you have, the status you have, the house you have, the car that you have, whatever it is, they pale into insignificance compared to who you are. The only thing that matters, actually, is who you are. And who you are is itself a miracle of God's creation. You were made by God as a spiritual being. You are holy too. And the only bit that God is really interested in is who you are spiritually. The other things will pass away, but the who you are spiritually will endure. It will live on in the hearts of those that we leave behind, those that we love. This is what really matters. It's rather like the Dr. Martin Luther King said of his children. He said, I want the world to be a place where people recognize the character of my children, not the color of their skin. Frankincense represents the spirituality of Christ and the spirituality of each and every one of us. And then there is the myrrh. Absolutely and completely ridiculous. How on earth could we ever expect that God would choose to come into the world in order to suffer? That's ridiculous. And yet he did. And yet we all understand. Would you not suffer for your child? Will you not suffer for someone you love? Because actually, it is a demonstration of the love of God. God so loved his creation that rather than ask for his creation to bear the consequences of their failures and their sins, out of an act of supreme love, he reaches out and says, no, I'll pay the price. I'll pay the price. I'll do the suffering. I just want you to be redeemed. I'll even die for you. And that is what the myrrh is all about. What an amazing story. So much profound truth wrapped up in such a beautiful story. And it's a treasure that we enjoy at this time of year. Please let it not just for this time of year. If I may adapt the little motto that the children wrote upon the door, may Christ bless you through all the year ahead.